Notion is quite possibly the most important discovery I've ever made in my life. If you are a creator, a founder, a business builder, or just someone that wants to keep on top of your life and be more productive, then Notion is an absolute game changer. But do you see this property right here? This thing called a button. It is not an ordinary button. This button can do anything. It can create an entire project with tasks, due dates, accountable, already programmed. It can generate your weekly plan with priorities and time blocks and all the resources that you need. It can send automated emails using your templates and your tone of voice. It can clean your entire CRM and surface your hottest leads or your newest clients, and it can do so much more. And because you program this property, the possibilities are endless. And that's why this video is going to teach you how to use this incredible free feature. I'm also going to tell you the best use cases for this button for content management, project management, conversion, and also show you exactly how to set it up for each of those step by step. And that process will take less than 5 minutes, but save you hours of work every single week. But first, my favorite use of this button is to use it to plan my entire week in less than a second. And I'm giving you this functionality for free in the description of this video. Every Sunday, I do my Sunday setup, which is where I spend some time making sure I know exactly what I need to get done the following week. Notion is incredible for this. My entire life lives in Notion. All I need to do is to come into my Notion calendar and then click this button to generate my week. All formatted properly, all ready for me to just drop in everything that I need to do in a fraction of a second and already built for you. So grab that now. And whilst you're there, subscribe. I'm Gina. I've spent the last 20 years building startups, and I now build Notion systems to help you utilize tech, tools, and my knowledge in order to build something for less time, risk, and cost than ever before. So let's get started. How do we actually use the button feature? The button feature is so overlooked and it's so easy. Essentially, all it is a formula where we can choose exactly how it acts every time it is pressed. So we can use this property again and again in different places, in different databases, and in different standalone blocks for completely different use cases every single time, and each one is distinct and its own action. Let me walk you through this. Now, what we have here is a Notion page. Nice and empty, nice and clean. Buttons can be used both in databases and in standalone blocks. It's what makes them so powerful. As with any block in Notion, we get there by starting with / and we want to type button. As you see, this has created a drop-down, which we can now program into whatever we want that button to do. We can see that when button is clicked, we have a whole list of actions that it can do. The first is insert blocks, and these can be inserted on the same page that your button is hosted. It can contain anything that you want it to contain. The second action is to add page to, and this is incredible because it means that we can add a page or a card to any database and any data source that we have in our entire Notion workbook. We have edit pages in, which again enables us to update any database that we have across any of our Notion. This is particularly exciting if you are doing things like updating databases after client meetings or repeating the same tasks. Instead of going in and updating those databases, post the action, you can simply click this button and update everything automatically. We have send notification to, which is very rarely used, but it's really useful. You can click the people that you want to send a notification to and pre-write the message. This means if you're doing any predetermined bulk updates, or you know that there is a next step that involves more people in your company, you can create a button so that every time that instance happens, you don't even have to think about it. We have show confirmation, which essentially is a double opt-in. This is super useful if you are using Notion as your web page, which is the best thing to do when you are starting out. Do not spend any money on Squarespace, Wix, or a design agency. Watch this video and learn how to use Notion as your entire web presence for completely free. In the same vein for building your website or even just having external resources kept really well on pages, we have open page form or URL where you can select your own pages, your own forms, or then just copy across any URL anywhere in the World Wide Web. And we have define variables. Now, define variables is used as kind of a placeholder for generating information that we need to redo. So think of this as being able to click a button to choose today's date or choose next week's date, or choose a type or choose a format that will then be used in a secondary automation. It means that when you get to that advanced button making, you can use several buttons in order to create an even more complex workflow. But don't worry, we don't have to get into that today to make the best use out of these buttons. And if this has really heightened your interest in Notion, because it is the best program in the entire world, and this is on the free version, do subscribe, because this channel will teach you everything you need to know, especially if you are a creator, founder, freelancer, or someone that is wanting to start something of their own. Now, the best use cases for this. As you can see with these options and the fact that we can define any parameters of how this button is used, both internally with our databases and externally to other sources, we could be here for days and days going through the opportunities. So I've picked 3 best use cases that are going to level you up in terms of saving you time, saving you effort, saving you money, and just making your life easier. If you are a creator, a founder, a small business, or anybody in this modern world, it seems, you will have to make content. And if you know anything about making content, you'll know that it is formulaic and has to be done in the correct steps. That's why this button, our long form video tasks, is an absolute game changer. One click of this, and it creates everything that we need to do in order to get that long form video out. This not only goes into your production workflow, but also into your overall task database, meaning that you can manage all those to-dos in one simple place each time. This automation is already set up in part of the Solo Business Blueprint. This is an entire workspace with over 11 different sections, over 40 different templates, and every workflow you need to take your idea and launch it properly. It's for anyone who has a business, has an idea, has a product, and is anywhere from thinking about it to launching it all the way to your first 100K. It's a one-off purchase that will get you through your first couple of years of business and scale with you as you go. It is the same system that is still used for a company that drives over $12 million ARR, and it's less than a coffee a week. So grab it for yourself now, because another thing that's part of this template is that when you put in the live date for your video, all of your content tasks are built out in a due date that means it will be done by then. There's a ton of other great automations and formulas set up in this workbook, which enables you to really focus on what matters and gives you the proven processes and ways to actually build something for yourself. Now, the next use case is project management. And Notion is an incredible tool for project management of any type. I've managed my wedding, my honeymoon, my run training, my new house, everything through Notion. And if you are using Notion for project management, you will probably be using the same kind of projects over and over again, whether that's marketing projects, construction projects, personal projects. So setting up buttons to make sure that every time you create a project, you are not starting from scratch is the second best use case we have. This is also part of the Solo Business Blueprint, by the way. We have these quick actions here, which are buttons which start those projects that you need in order to launch your business. One click brings up everything that you need in order to do that project. See how it's all pre-populated. And it means that every time you are not starting from scratch, you are saving time, effort, and energy by having this button set up. And the third best use case is to use this button instead of Squarespace. By setting up public pages or your entire website on Notion and using the button to click through to URLs, you can create an entire web presence and an entire marketing funnel for completely free. So now we have those 3 best use cases. Let me take you step by step in how to do them yourselves. Or you can just grab them as part of the Solo Business Blueprint because I've already done all the hard work for you. But let's go back to our demo page. Now, let's start from the bottom. Utilizing the button as a CTA or part of your website is the easiest one. So all we are going to do is going to make sure that when the button is clicked, the new action is open page form or URL. We are going to go and grab the URL. We are going to click on this drop down, copy it in, click enter, click done. And now we see that when we click on it, it will open the URL. Once you have programmed this, you can make changes to the appearance. You can add a click effect if you would like. And you can always go back and change how you've configured it by pressing this gear button on the right-hand side. But that is how you use this for external URLs. Super simple. Slightly less simple are the next 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a content management button. Now, the first thing we need to have is a content management system. Now, I actually have one of these for you that's completely free from my website, so go and grab it yourself. And I'm just going to use this as a demo as to how we set up the button within that. What we're going to want to do is to go down to our content board where we create our content. We're then going to want to edit or create a template. And for this button, it's not going to be in a page, it's going to be as a property. So we click Add Property, and then we find the button. Now, this button setup is the exact same as the button on a page. It's just held within Edit Property. We want to go down to Edit Automation, and you'll see that we have the exact same options as we have when it's on a page. So for the content one, when the button is clicked, what we want it to do is add a page to our tasks. And we are going to do this in the way that you should do any content, which is thumbnail, title, scripting, filming, editing. So the first task that we need to do is create thumbnail. And what we're going to do is add another property to make sure that we're relating back to this page which means that every time you press this button, it will sit within that one template with that one page. We're also going to add status as not started. We are then going to add these actions of adding a page to our tasks for the other sections that we need to do, making sure that we are linking them back to this card. And so on. I'm not going to do all of those because we will be here for a while. We are then going to click Save. We are then going to rename this button. And we're going to click away because that will save our template. Now, when we click New, we can click Content Task Generator and have our tasks come up here automatically. And you can add in as many tasks as you want to in line with your own content in order to build this out. Now, our project management button is something that we can set up not just for one database, but for multiple databases. Now, I have walked you through the functionality of setting it up, and it is the exact same. All we do is /button and do new action of adding page to. But what we are going to do to make this one distinct is think about every project that we need to start. If I am doing a marketing project, I know that I will have to have paid ads, social content, emails, probably out of home, and analytics. When setting up this button, what I do is I look at all of the databases that I have across all of those aspects, and I add a new page to every single one of those databases that will touch this project. By going through that process we've just done with content and relating each of those pages back to this one master page, what you will find is that when you click New Project, you will create a new card that already has all of those same tasks that you need across every aspect of your business right in those databases as well for just one click of a button. By utilizing this button, you will reduce hours of your work. You will also be able to remove repeatable drudgery, which is what tech is here to do for us. If you want to learn anything about Notion, starting your own business, or doing anything on the side, do subscribe, drop me a comment, drop me an email, and utilize the power of Notion buttons.